So I don't know what just happened there. Sorry about that, guys. So I was just live with another follower, and somehow my live event shut off. So I apologize. But let's, we got a lot of other people going live, and I try to answer everybody's question in depth. So let's see what Chris has to say. What's up, Salik? What's up, Benz? What's up, Jonathan? J91, Celia. I'm still waiting for Chris to join. Accepted as live. Kukuri. Funny name. Amy says, do you work every day? I kind of do, but I don't really look at it as work because it's like, I like it, I enjoy it. What's up, Kunt? Jesse says, how can you answer my two questions? How can you or can you? J91 says, is it worth buying your first home or renting? Not really sure what you mean by that. Hey, what's up, Chris?
How's it going?
Going good. How you doing?
Doing pretty good myself. Thank you. Thanks for taking the time to answer some of my questions I got for you.
No problem. Go ahead, buddy.
So my first question is, what would you prefer starting off, wholesaling or doing rehabs?
I mean, it really depends on your skill set and your connections, right? When you wholesale, your tax bill is high. You're about like a 35% tax bill. If you do a double close wholesale, you're also paying agent fees. So you're getting they're sucking all the money out of all these different costs, right? Mm-hmm. If you're able to get deals, who cares about the tax, right? If you're making money, pay the tax, and you keep running through these deals. If you can't find deals, which is one of the problems I'm having, finding deals in the areas I want to be in, I'll then go into wholesale. I'll go into rehabbing, which is what I do and why I do it, because it's hard to find deals where I want to go. So in that sense, I do have a skill set of repairing. I do have the knowledge of repairing items. And normally what I'll do is I'll do like the BRRRR method. So if you haven't heard of the BRRRR method, it's you buy the property, say you buy the property with a hard money loan, you only need to put down like 10%, and then the rental budget, normally they'll fund your rental budget as well, which is 10%. So you buy a $200,000 place, and it's like $50,000 in remodeling, right? So it's only costs you about $25,000 plus closing costs about 30 grand in. So you're 30 grand in to the deal. You then buy it, remodel it, and rent it. Okay? At this point, it's worth $350. You go to the bank and you say, "Bank, it's worth $350. I would like to refinance the loan I owe." You do a refinance for the loan that you owe. You pay off the money that you got for the hard money. Now you're at like a 5% interest rate, and the rent you're collecting pays the mortgage, pays taxes, pays insurance, and makes you money. And you should basically have almost all your money out of the deal at this point, because what you owe and what money you put in should be less than the 70%, which is the required amount of the loan from the bank, right? They'll loan you up to 70%. So now you paid off the hard money, you got your 25 grand back, and now you do it again. And you never got rid of that property, you still own it. So you bring in a little bit of money from the rent, and you do it again. Now you're not paying any taxes.
Right. So you would
not paying any
suggest
commissions.
instead of fixing and flipping, just fix and hold?
Yeah, you fix and hold. And now what happens is, like, my big money comes from the property I've been holding like 5 years, because that's normally you get a lot of the appreciation. You got no money in the deal, and you keep on appreciating, and then after you sell it after a year or two, you're at a lower bracket. And then after a year or two, when you sell it, you can even choose to do 1031 exchange. So you're selling it, you make 150,000 on it. You're not paying any tax on that. You're rolling that 150 into a $1 million deal. You're rolling that 150 into a $700,000 deal. And then you're doing the same concept again. So you're deferring your gratification in spending all that money, and you're just living low for the first 5 years while you're trying to get that build up. So by year 5, year 10, you own like $4 million in real estate, and you're bringing in money every month, and you're bringing in $7,000-8,000 a month just from rental money you're pocketing, and then you can do some flips here and there and get a quick another 10-20 from your flips, or you're selling out your contract. So everyone starts. If you see all the guys that are talking about wholesaling, right? They all start wholesaling, but if you talk to them, you'll see now they're buying holders. No one like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no one's like, most people don't want to be a wholesaler their whole life, because it's cash. It's a cash business. You have a cash business, and then you have a wealth business. And the wealth comes in holding the real estate.
Right.
And being a landlord.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's my first question. And then my second question, so I'm having problems, like, I guess, trying to find a lender. So as of now, I don't have proof of income other than money going back into the bank each week. So how would I find a lender?
So one, you have to do your taxes right. If you want to get a first-time home buyer deal, you have to show tax return, you have to show the money. So money going into your account each week is fine. It's an acceptable way of showing your income. And there is some loans that way that are non-FHA loans. You can go to non-conventional lending, and they might accept the money going into your bank account as proof of funds. Those are higher interest rates and more down payment. There's hard money loans. They don't even care how much you make. Is the deal significantly cheaper than the ARV? But again, you're paying 10, 12, 15% interest and 2 points up front. Then that's another option. The next option is the accurate way of doing it. To get a conventional loan, or a normal FHA, whatever loan, what you're going to do is you're going to be putting the money in, and you're going to actually file the money that you're making on your tax return, and you're going to pay taxes on it. Now, if you get a professional accountant, like I'm an accountant, I know how to file your taxes properly so you could show the money and still be added towards your income. Now, again, it does take almost 2 years for that income to count, because when the government is giving you the loan and they're only asking 3% down, they want to make sure that you are capable of repaying and that your income is stable. That is what's important. So it is a planning, but if you think about it, if you plan right and you only have to put down $19,000 on a $400,000 property, it's a great deal and you're getting the benefits. Some people will be like, oh, I don't want to pay the tax or any tax at all. I'm like, sometimes you got to pay a little bit, but you're paying a little bit and you're getting a lot. Just think about what you're getting out of it. So those are 3 options, 3 ways of what to do to get a loan.
Right. Okay. And I guess my last question is, so what would you say an average amount of money would be to start a rehab? I guess buying my first property then.
There is no answer for that. I mean, I did one rehab that I only needed like 10 grand, right? And the rehab cost. The one I did before this deal was 70 grand, and the current deal I'm doing is 350,000 and rehab budget alone. So it's the deal, right? Like, what I would say is figure out what you can do, what you can afford, or partner with someone else that has money that can help you. Because trust me, there's a lot of money out there in your area. If you told someone you found that you want to do this, and if you found an amazing deal, would they partner with you and give you cash? And you showed the person, like, look, this is worth $250, and I'm buying it for $150, and it only needs like $30,000 in renovations. Someone's going to give you the $30,000-40,000. They're going to put their name on the properties that they own it with you, and they're willing to split the money with you, and you do all the work, and they put up the money. So, so you can, if you don't go through those steps in finding someone to partner with you, then just say, all right, I know I have this much money. I have $10,000 down for the closing, and I have another $20,000 in credit cards that I can max out for the renovation until I sell this property. and then look for what you can afford, right? I always looked at deals that I could afford, and I looked at hundreds of them so I could see what a good deal looks like. After that, I finally was able to do the deal a couple of years later. It took me a while to do my first deal. And now I'm looking at like $5 million deals, $10 million deals, and I'm running numbers on them. I can't do the $10 million deal yet, but when it comes up, I will know what it's worth, and I will know what it takes on paper. And then when I'm trying to execute, I'll be ready for it, and I know what my parameters are, you know?
Yes, sir.
So you have to do it, just do your homework and do the research and like basically do the boring part of, and it doesn't have to be boring, because for me it was like fantasizing, right? Like I was doing the numbers and most people were like, oh, that's boring, right? But for me, I'm like, as I was doing the numbers, I was fantasizing of owning the property and doing the deal and making it happen and making this profit, you know? And what's going to happen from 1, 2, 5 years from now, all the good stuff. And that helped motivate me to see I can do it on paper, I can do it in my head, you know. Like they say normally when you win twice. You win once in your head and then once in real life. But if you never win in your head, so I won on the paper, I won in my head, then I won in real life. But if you never win on paper and you never win in your head, you're never going to attempt to win in real life. So you got to stay positive and stay motivated, and like maybe have like one of those like walls with all the pictures of the stuff that you want and what you want to do, and then that's going to help you keep going for it, because again, there's almost no chance there's you're gonna hit one hit wonder, or one hit and you're gonna get it done and make it happen. Like along the way of making my first deal happen, 1,000 things go wrong, and that's gonna stop you, right? So it's the pursuit and consistent pursuit that's gonna make you win.
All right. So like in my situation, with my taxes not being right, would you use your own money? Say if I had so much saved up.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing, though. Again, you don't have to have good taxes if you're going to get a hard money loan. The hard money loan doesn't care.
Right.
Part
But it's
two.
higher interest. It's higher in interest, though. Correct.
It is higher interest, but if you don't have the money, you should not care about paying interest if you're making sick money. Right? You should not care if someone else is making money with you.
Right.
If they're helping you make money, cool. Right? If you're going to make money, it's okay to share money with other people, right? Mm-hmm. This business, you cannot be big in the real estate game if you're not sharing. You have to share. Now, 2, you can get investment property loans that is not hard money as well, and they're going to go a non-doc, they will do a non-income based loan. Again, the interest rate's not 10 to 15%, it might be like 8% interest. So there is there's multiple options, right? Multiple steps for you to go. So you don't have to think like automatically, I'm going to pay 15%. You could maybe find an option that's 8%. But if it's, when you're paying the 12 to 15%, that means it's like in bad shape and no income at all right now. High risk. You could probably get more like a 7 or 8% loan and put down 30%, and you could probably get more like an 8% loan because there's already tenants in there, and it's, you know, you just don't have any documents to prove. Now, when I go for a loan now, they don't look at my income. They look at the project. They're like, okay, this project currently has tenants. It's making money on its own. Put down 20% and we're going to give you the rest of the money. Because they don't care about how much I make. They know the property makes money. And they know if I screw up, they're going to take it from me. Mm-hmm. So, and then I'm only paying like 5%. So it's, in the beginning, it is harder, right? And like I said, it's the hardest thing is your first deal. That's why you might as well go for like a 4-unit. And if you're going to use, especially if you're using like FHA loan or VA loan, maximize it. After that, it gets a little harder, then it gets a lot easier. Like there's a dip, and then it gets extreme. Like now, it's extremely easy to do deal after deal because multiple factors are like. It's easy, man.
Right.
It gets a lot easier.
Damn, you answered all my questions, man. My motivation just shot right up.
Awesome.
Appreciate it. I appreciate it.
No problem, bro. keep in touch and let us know how you're doing.
I will. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, hopefully it doesn't end. All right, it didn't end. All right, awesome. So anybody else want to go live? Ask to go live, and we will answer your questions. Let's see if there's any. Oh, there's a lot of questions. So anyway, if I don't get your question, sorry. Again, people who ask to go live get their questions answered first, and then otherwise it goes towards the people asking the questions. It says property investment wants to go live. Okay. What's up, Benz? All right. Silica, hello from Montreal. Hello, Silica. Select. Sorry. All right. Oh, what am I sipping on? Nathan asked, what am Benzar, hello. Mar, hello. Kuntz says, are you taking anyone live? Kuntz, I tried to take you live twice, and for some reason, I tried to take you live twice, and it just didn't work. I'll try again. This is the third time's a charm, huh? What's up, Ray?
Hi, bro.
Hey, now it worked. I actually tried twice before.
Hey. I know. I was like, I kept like trying to request. I'll keep this quick and short because I'm about to go to the gym and. So I've got a few buddies here that are doing real estate here in Atlanta, and I was trying to get into it, and they basically told me that the market was just too saturated. It was sacked up. That my money would be better spent, somewhere else. I kind of got bummed out of that, and he worked for Open Door. He worked for a lot of big real estate companies here.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, hey man, if you had started maybe six years ago, you could have gotten the game. But now he's telling me basically it's just kind of a wash. So I didn't, and he's my friend and I'm trying to take his word on it, but obviously I'm out there trying to gain the opinions of others. So
what
you gotta say that.
So Open Door and all those guys definitely are making it hard, right? They're making it very hard.
Right.
Back in 2011, BlackRock and all those other big funds went in and bought like billions of dollars of real estate and made it really hard because I was about to buy a lot of deals because I finally got my money right again, and they literally jumped all the prices 30%. So it's not the first time, it's not the last time. Now, what is good about this game? This is not the stock market. This is different. This business is a people business. It's a relationship business. And you, using your people skills, can get deals these big companies can't. You're making relationship face to face. You can door knock. You can do multiple other things. You can look for deals. You can try to find stuff. When I started, I found stuff that was already for sale on the market and that was on there for like 180 days. And they've been on so long, I call them and be like, look, or I get contacted with them and I say, look, you've been on for 180 days. Do you actually want to sell? Yes, I want to sell. Let's make a deal. And I normally would find something on top of that, so I'll be able to get them to reduce their price. But on top of that, I find properties in an area that's pretty good, but their current rent is a lot less than market value. So because of that, I'm able to get their rents a lot lower, or the purchase price a lot lower, and then I'm able to do small upgrades to the property and increase the rents a lot. So I'm able to gain $15,000 in value for every $100 I increase the rent. If it's a duplex and you raise the rent $200 each side, you just raised $60,000 in value.
Okay.
So you're able to find deals. Remember, that's the good thing about this business is that you can keep looking and hunting and searching for those deals and can find it. I'll give you an example. Back when I was like 19, 18 years old, basically all the silver coins were taken out of the banking system. You can't find silver coins. I collected silver coins. Every single silver coin, even though for like a 50-cent piece, is worth $5 to $15. You're paying 50 cents for it, but it's worth $5 to $15 in silver. So they basically said they was all gone. So what I would do is I would go and I would order $1,000 in half dollars, and they're all gone. Okay, I will spend my Saturday looking through all the coins to find which one's silver. And sometimes I found nothing. And one time I got lucky and found $1,200 worth of silver out of one bag. So sometimes you get nothing. And in real estate game, many, many years, you might get nothing. But the good thing is you've done it for so long and have so much experience. When finally a good deal comes by, you will know it's a good deal. And you'll be able to snatch it up before these big boys can do it. Because the big thing is you can move faster than the people that have big money. Really? That's another benefit. You have people skills. They don't have people skills. They're a big corporation. You're an individual. You also can move faster than they can move, so you can make deals happen. Same deal when I bought my last property, the $1 million property in Safety Harbor. There was a bunch of other people that wanted it, but they had to ask a bunch of other people's permission to buy the property. I didn't. I said, I will buy it from you. I agree to buy it for you for this much money. Let's shake on it. Let's get this deal done. And I was able to get in there before them. So it is difficult, yes, because there's money to be made, and it's a pretty conservative investment overall. That's why it's difficult. If it was, if it was something else, if it was risky, if it was, these different animals.
So hypothetically, I have a friend who has a house. He has a second house, and I asked him if I would buy it from him, and he said he would. So should I just go ahead with that? Because he's an older guy. He has a few homes. This one's up in Kennesaw and up in Atlanta, and it's just sitting there. And I was like, well, shoot, let me go ahead and buy it. But I didn't know if that was a reasonable risk assessment to take.
Yeah, I mean, like, it doesn't matter who's selling it. You just got to figure out what is it worth, right? Like, so if he's selling it and it's worth 150 and he's selling it for 170, that it's not a good deal because you make your money in the buy. Now, if it's worth 150 and he says he'll sell it to you for 150, but he'll hold the mortgage and you don't really have to come up much money out of pocket and you don't have much else to do, then maybe you'll take it so you can learn. Just make sure there's not a lot of deferred maintenance, because otherwise, if there is deferred maintenance, you're paying for the roof, you're paying for the water here, and so on. So just make sure that whatever the value is, minus the deferred maintenance, is what you're going to pay for it. And if he's willing to hold the loan, then that's a big deal. That's awesome.
Because it's close to Kennesaw State University, so I was thinking, I'd rent it out to the juniors or the seniors.
That's awesome. Renting out to college kids is good money.
Right. Okay. So that's something I need to look at.
Because, I mean, I've done a lot of deals where I had owner financing, which helped out a lot, So if he's willing to offer owner financing, even though it's not like a sick deal, at least it's not messing with your first-time home buyers,
Right. I can keep that as my next shot for something bigger.
Exactly. And then try to use it for first-time home buyers. Try to buy a multifamily property because, again, I don't know what your cap rates are, but, I've heard in certain markets, you should be able to do decent. Again, a lot of times it's a value add portion that you're going to make a lot of your wealth. So finding something that's not currently maximize the money, it's not upgraded properly, it doesn't cost too much money to do the upgrades, and you're going to make money that way.
Okay. So going back to maybe the first question, just kind of don't worry about what he said, just kind of jump into it and kind of do my research and look around.
Yeah,
because
even if he might be right. Okay, he's a large portion of what he's saying is correct, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't do research. Because again, I started studying at like 14, 15, and I didn't buy till I was 19. But when I started buying, but remember this, I started buying at 19, and by 23, I had 23 apartments. So I had so much knowledge that I built such an awesome foundation of knowledge and experience. I was able to use it all to buy more and more deals fast. So maybe you don't
Okay.
buy something for a year or two. But when you do, you're able to go from a guy that had nothing to a guy that had like 20 properties in a few years. And they're like, how'd you do it? Well, they don't know that you spent 3 years studying and being ready
Right.
and like knowing everything and like just going after it when you had your shot, you know?
Right. And then two other quick little things. So I'm 26, so I'm giving myself, a 4-year plan. That's the goal right now. Maybe take a year or two, kind of learn, and then the next, the 2 years after start buying. Other thing, so I went to school for construction engineering. So I was a framer. I knew how to build homes. I, worked in the steel mills, all that stuff. So I'm pretty handy. I know how to fix and flip. So is that something that, since I have a skill for, should I kind of jump into that arena or?
Obviously, if whatever skills you have is helpful, and it's good to do a
Right.
lot of stuff yourself to save money. But remember, what's more important is time than money. So if sometimes you
Okay.
have to pay someone to do it to move it quickly, move it quickly. If you can go do something somewhere else and get paid more money and pay someone else to do this and still have the same amount of time, then let someone else do it and you do something else. Now, again, you
Okay.
can still use your weekends to help move it along faster and so on. But time is more important than money. And if you can do it now and find a great deal now, then you should do it now. You don't want to
Okay.
waste time. The biggest benefit that I have over other people my age is I started buying when I was 19. So I have 14 years of me owning a property and going up in value, up and up and up, and me collecting rent every year for the last 14 years. So
Right.
time is your friend or time is your enemy. So if you can now, do it now. If you can't, find a good deal, then don't. If you can buy your friend's property, fix it up, and just flip it right away, that's fine as well, right? Run the numbers, because nothing is going to really give you a definite answer until you run the numbers and figure out what is possible. Because if you could buy that property, he's renting it out to some tenant he's had for 12 years and he's not making much money. You go in, do some upgrades, put in 4 college students, and now you're bringing in double the rent. And you
Right.
turn around and sell it because it's making so much cash flow. You can easily make maybe a quick $30,000-$40,000 and just keep it moving, And again,
Right.
no one's going to have that
Okay.
answer. The numbers are going to have that answer.
Got it. Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it, man.
Cheers.
All right. Have a good night. Cheers, man.
Great questions. All right. Let's see. Let's try this again. Abo Investments wanted to go live. Let's see if they can go live. All right.
What's going on, Baskal?
What's going on, buddy?
I'm in my car. I'm sorry, it's dark. Hey,
That's all right.
I just got a few questions for you. I kind of want to pick your brain. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
For sure, man. So I'm 20 years old. Looking to start in I'm wholesaling currently, just because that's, bound to be kind of the best way to start, get your feet wet, learn the industry. But I really want to invest in my first rental property. And I just kind of I'm trying to pick people's brains, people that have been doing it for years, as to what kind of tips would you give me to approach that? The biggest problem for me right now is really just finding a way to actually analyze the properties. So what advice would you give me to actually figure that out?
Okay. So first, you're wholesaling properties, right? So you were the first person finding a deal.
I'm sorry, not the wholesale properties, but the rental properties. How do I analyze those?
Okay, but what I'm saying is one of the hardest things right now is finding deals. So if you're wholesaling properties, you're finding the deal. When you're finding the deal, you're running numbers on what you're negotiating the price of buying it, and you're calculating ARV. So then you're going to be able to find a person to buy it from you. That's what you're currently doing. So in your process, when you're finding one of these properties and you're calculating what the ARV is and you're trying to get the seller to sell it to you as low as possible, if you are getting, say, a $250,000 property and you're getting it at, 150 or below, you basically got it that low because you asked them what is needed to be fixed with your property, and they're going to tell you what needs to be fixed. Now, as you've been doing these deals, you should find some people in the industry that do remodeling, and you could basically ask them, hey, I'm looking at this deal, I'm going to hire you to fix everything, and I'll give you a cut of my deal, okay? And I'll give you a cut of the profit from this. You just redo the remodel, and I'll split the profit with you. So now, instead of flipping it for 10K, and the rental budget is, say, 30, 40,000, you could be sharing, you can make 30,000 because you're waiting for the reno to be finished. Now, you might not have the 150. You go get a hard money loan for that. And anyone will give you 150 on a $250,000 ARV. So you got the deal, you got the loan, your construction buddy is going to do the work and put in their money for the 30,000 for the renovation. And then you guys split the profit on that deal. That is one way where you could learn from someone else how the construction part goes. If not, the homeowner himself should know, yeah, the roof needs to be changed. I got a quote for like 20,000, and these AC needs to be changed. I got a quote for 5,000, and you're going to learn along the way like how much these things cost to place. Then most of the time they'll know. And then the other thing is when you're getting pictures from the homeowner, when you're trying to do that wholesale deal, you're going to know the kitchen's bad, it's going to cost this much money, or you're going to try to figure out what's it going to cost to remodel this kitchen. So by working backwards of this is the ARV, this is what it cost for the repairs. So then I want to make at least, this much money. I got to buy the property for at least this much or lower. So by you doing that, you're going to know you're going to basically be able to work backwards and get the answer. Does that make sense? Am I kind of hitting your answering your question?
Absolutely. I mean, you are, but you're speaking more of like a fix and flip, right? I assume.
Well, you can fix or flip, or you could do the BRRRR method. Yeah. So on the BRRRR method, the BRRRR method?
Yeah, buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat.
Yeah. So what method? So what are you aiming at?
Well, see, here's the thing. Again, I'm 20 years old. I just kind of want to build like a portfolio for myself, something that would help me build that long-term wealth. Wholesaling is temporary in my eyes. Yeah. So I really just want to really start and my parents are not on board with me. So I think it'll help solidify, this whole real estate thing if I were to actually have a property, in my hands. And so, looking into rental property, whatever it may be, I was actually looking to invest in like a triplex or a fourplex with a FHA or something along those lines. The issue is I don't have any funds or money to even, get a loan or whatever that is.
So that's why the BRRRR method is going to help you, because the BRRRR method is going to help you when you don't have a lot of money, right? You've done a couple of, wholesale deals, so you got some cash. You're going to use the money to get a hard money loan. You're going to rehab, rent it, and then do the BRRRR method. Pay off the hard money loan, get your cash back, and now you own a property with no money in it. So that's the benefit. When I was 19, my parents didn't really support me either on it, right? They were like very afraid of it. They didn't even know that I had 23 apartments by the time I was 23. I surprised them with that.
Wow.
All right? Yeah, because the thing is, because I
dropped out of Michigan State University. I didn't tell them until just recently, actually. It's a risky move, but yeah, I'm on the same board, man. Not 23 apartments, but it's kind of one of those things,
And the thing is, if you're applying the BRRRR method properly, if you're applying these different strategies that are somewhat similar, you can scale your business pretty quickly, right? And yes, the FHA loan is great, but if you're not documenting the wholesale money you're making properly, you're not going to get a loan. So what I'm thinking, if I was you and I was going to redo it and do the way you're doing it, I would find a fire deal and apply the BRRRR method to it, and then refinance my cash out of the deal, and then do it again, and keep doing it. And again, just don't blow any of, like, you're gonna basically get back your own cash, and then just keep applying it. Now, it's not instantaneous money that you can just spend, right? Because when you're doing a wholesale deal, you made $10,000. You can go and blow the $10,000 and try to make another deal. When you're doing these wholesale deals, your goal should be not spending any of the 10,000, saving it again and again until you can start applying the Burr method, and maybe he's doing it with 30 grand, and now you got your 30 grand back. I'm going to do another deal, 30 grand, get my money back. So by the time you know it, a year is going to go by and you're going to own 4 properties. You know, so that is a strategy I would take to accomplish your goal.
Okay, definitely. So let me ask you, so I understand kind of like turning my wholesale deals into one of these Burr deals rather than just wholesaling it off and giving it to an investor. But how do I know if it's a good deal? Just based off how much of a discount I got it at?
So that's the thing, like, are you seeing the properties in person or no?
Yeah, 90%.
Okay. So, one, if you're going to a property and you're buying it significantly less than the surrounding neighborhood, that is a sign that you're getting a good deal. As long as you can add back the cost of repairs and deferred maintenance into it. But if you're buying properties, so if you're buying a property it's worth 200 and you're buying it for like 120 and your repairs are like 30,000, so you're in it for 150, that's a no-brainer good deal. Right? Now again, you don't want to be in the hood, because that's the problem. If you're in the hood, you're not going to get the problem. When I used to live in the hood, but like when I used to invest in it, sometimes you're not making the money. You're not getting in the rent.
Yeah,
so
most of my properties are all in Detroit, Michigan. I mean, that's where I live. So it's more than just the hood. It's most definitely distressed properties for sure.
So that could work for you, right? But if you're gonna just be prepared that if you're not collecting the rent, you have enough properties. Like it could work out. Like when I used to invest in the hood, I used to make a lot of money from rent because the rent was good compared to the price you're paying for stuff. But if you're going to do it, just make sure that the cash you're making from your flips, you're saving it, or from your wholesale deal, you're saving it so you can have the money to do your fix, the Burr method. And just make sure after you're actually doing your refinance to get a cheaper interest rate. So if you are losing 1 out of 4 tenants, you still are not losing any money because the money from the other tenants are covering all your bills.
Mm-hmm. Now let me ask you. You keep talking about refinance. I mean, every circumstance varies, but how often or when do you refinance? How many years? How many months in?
I try to refinance almost as soon as I can, because remember, if you're buying a property for $150,000 and your interest rate's 10 to 15%, it's very high. Mm-hmm. So you're buying it for $150. Say you got like 30 into it, you're in at 180, and it's worth $250. I have a tenant in there paying me money, but you're not going to make much money because your interest rate's so high. Yeah. So once you hit about 6 months, normally the rule is about 6 months. Some banks will make you have it a year, but try to find the bank that's 6 months. And they're like, oh, okay, we'll refinance you out of this 15% interest rate loan into a 5% interest rate loan. I'll pay off the hard money lender. Here's back the $30,000 you invested in it. You have no money in this deal. Now you're owing us 185% instead of 15%. Now you're making a bunch of cash flow. And it makes sense to them because, look, they only have a loan for 180 on a deal that's worth 250. It's very conservative for the bank. Plus, they have cash flow coming in from the rent. So they're going to want to do that deal.
Man, that's a lot to take in, but it's very
it sounds a lot, but it's very simple. Yeah. One, any wholesale deal that you think, wow, this is an awesome deal, someone's going to want to buy this property bad from me, is a good deal. Like if you're like, wow, I'm going to sell this thing quick, then it's a good deal. Mm-hmm. That's basically it. If you're like super confident that you're going to be able to flip this contract real quick, then it's a good deal.
Okay.
And then instead of flipping it, you just fix it and rent it. And then within 3 months, or within like 6 months, you can do a refinance. And because now it's fixed, there's nothing wrong with it. You got a tenant, it's paying you rent, and it's the amount of money you're asking is way less than what it's worth. The bank's going to give you the loan easy. People make it seem like the bank's like hard to deal with. They're not. You ask for not a lot of money compared to what it's worth, and you have money coming in from a tenant, they're happy. They'll give you the money. They got a lot of money they don't know what to do with.
Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you, Baskal, is there a specific loan that you suggest going with, like maybe a hard money versus a FHA, or what would you suggest, especially for a 20-year-old?
So one, FHA loans require you to have consistent income that's supported on your tax returns. So the reason why I'm not suggesting that for you, and I suggest it for everybody else that's listening to me, is because they could qualify and you're very unlikely to qualify.
Yeah.
You don't have 2 years of consistent income coming in. So that's a portion of it. So for you, that's what I'm saying, go for a hard money loan or go for and you don't always have to go for a hard money loan. There's also investor loans, but that's going to be that's going to work for you better. Now, after you have about 2 years of doing this and you have this on your tax returns and you're showing the profits, then you can probably go for an FHA loan for like an owner-occupied quadplex and go that route with it. So I'm making suggestions for you based off of your situation. Now, maybe sometimes I'm not asking you certain questions and I'm just giving you an answer. It's because I already know what you're doing and I already like, all right, this 80% is not going to apply to him because he can't even do this.
Yeah.
I'm focusing on what you can do and what move you could do in your particular situation.
Absolutely. Now, what's an average rate for a hard money loan? Like
10 to 15% with about 2 to 3 points up front.
Okay. All right. Now I got 2 more questions before I let you go, Baskal. One, what final advice would you give a 20-year-old starting out in this industry?
Save your money. I know you're going to be what happens is most people's problem is not that they can't get a deal. If they stick in along long enough, they make deals and they get a lot of deals. Number one problem, they blow all their money. If you're making 10 grand on a deal, you should spend 2 grand of it and keep 8. Like that's number one problem. Most people's problem is they blow all their money. That's their problem. And what happens is when shit goes wrong, and it happens, life happens, shit goes wrong. They have no money left. And then when shit goes wrong for everybody else, and no one else has money left either. And then there's a couple of guys with money left, and they're going to pick up everything up real cheap. So don't be the guy that has some money left over to pick up stuff cheap, right? That's why, and you should know, that's the problem is the guys like you, a lot of the guys that I know that are like you have the biggest problem, but I think they should know better than everybody else. Because why are people selling you stuff for cheap? Because they don't have any cash. Because they are not prepared for when things go wrong. So you learn from other people's mistakes.
100%.
So what can I say? Learn from other people's mistakes. And if you want something, find someone who has it, copy what they're doing. Don't act like you're smarter than them and reinvent the wheel. Copy what they're doing, do what they're doing, and benefit.
I love that, man. That actually almost led to my last question for you. Is there anything I could help you out? Maybe I could help you with your business and learn something.
Find me deals in my area. I'll buy all day. I don't care what the market is, up, down, left, right. I'll buy. Find me deals in my area and I'll buy.
Do you need an assistant or anything? A dedicated, disciplined one?
If you can find me, what assistance I need is finding deals. That's what I need assistance in. I mean, I have an accounting firm. I do my own taxes. I have my own insurance agency. I have my own construction company. I need deals so I could buy more stuff. So if you find me deals in Clearwater north of Mid-Pinellas, I'll buy it. And that's where you can help me and you can make money on, selling it to me. Absolutely. Or you can say, you know what? You can tell me this. You can say, I don't want to, because this is another way you can do it. You can say, I'll find a deal, I'll give you the deal, and I will not charge you money for getting you that contract. But my cut is 10%. So that could be like you can throw in your residual royalty. So the deal's $150,000, and you're like, normally I would get $10,000 in this deal. This $10,000 is my portion of this property, okay? And I get the residual on this deal. And then in 5 years, when you sell it and you make, $100,000 on it, I get my $100,000 back, plus I get another $20,000. And every month you're collecting rent, I get a cut of the rent. You can do those type of deals. Where okay, you can put in the footwork, find the deals. You don't even got to manage it. You don't got to remodel it. You don't got to do nothing. You can just find someone, look, I don't need a cut. You keep it, but I am part owner. And there's a lot of big so like I'm looking forward to doing syndications now, right? We're like doing like $20 million deals, $50 million deals. And normally when you're doing deals like that, you got like 2 or 3 partners, and each person is good at what they're doing. One guy's really good at finding the deal. One guy's at the numbers and construction of the deal to get that approved from the bank. There's another guy that's really good with dealing with the construction side of the deal. And each person does their part and everybody gets their cut. So if you're really good at finding deals and getting them signed out, right? So getting the person to sign, then that could be your portion of the deal. And you can get an equity cut for your effort. Real estate's about partnership. Everyone gets something, everybody shares, and everybody wins.
I love it, man. Hey, thank you for your time and for your advice. I really appreciate it, Baskal. Keep doing what you're doing, brother.
You're welcome, bro. Good luck.
Thanks.
All right, guys. A lot of good questions there. Taylor wants to ask some questions. Let's go.
Hey.
What's up, buddy?
So I was literally thinking the syndication the whole time you were talking, and you just brought it up, and it blows my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, through syndication, I mean, have you done any syndicated deals yourself, or?
I haven't. I mean, I've like literally done like, I'm really big on like making sure everything goes really good and everyone's profiting and whatever. So like, I'm very conservative on that, because if I touch anybody's money, I'm like,
Right.
perfect, right? Like,
Absolutely.
I'm not going to screw up.
Absolutely.
So that's 1. 2, I've not needed people's money yet, right?
Right.
So 3, in syndication, you must have a relationship with someone prior to you showing them a deal. So if I find a deal, I can't come to you right now and be like, hey, you want part of this? It's not allowed.
No.
You have to have a pre-established relationship. So I would like to do it because I'm like, I know I'm very good at what I do.
Right.
But for me to get into the $10 million deals or $20 million deals, I have to have like $2 to $3 million down and then another $1 million or $2 million in rental budget. Now I know I can make crazy money off of it, but like there's a $20 million deal right now in Clearwater, and I'm like, if I had $7 million, I could make a ton of money off that deal. But so slowly, you know, kind of work in that direction, and. But yes, it's syndication. Everybody wins, you know?
Right, exactly. And that's something that, like, kind of, because I'm 19 too, and I literally just started doing the wholesaling process. And like, when you brought up you were 19, and freaking had a huge smile on my face. Like, this man, he knows how to do it. He's been through it. He's put in time. He's put in the work. He's got it. And so with you being 19, man, what was your, like, I mean, 19, like, I'm 19. When I thought about it, I was like, you know, I don't want this life. I want this life right here. And if I have to do it, I got to do it. You know, I'm 19 years old. I'm not even 20 yet. And you were 19. I'm just curious to see what your thought process was when you got into it.
So let me put it like this. At 14, I wanted to do it. Okay? So that's the thing. At 14, I wanted to do it. At 16, I had enough money for a down payment to buy a property, and my dad wouldn't co-sign. So 19 was when I was able to do it with my money. I had like $35,000 saved up. So imagine fail, fuck everything. I'm doing this. I don't care.
Right. That's
so,
yep.
So it's like, you know, it happens. You're just gonna keep pushing till you get what you want. And I made a decision. I want everything I want. No, I'm not compromising anything. I want it all. So, and I'm going to keep pursuing till I get it. And part of the pursuit should be your happiness, right? Like, our country is based off of the pursuit of happiness. So we're going to pursue, we're going to go for it. And we should be allowed to go for our happiness as long as it doesn't F with anybody else.
Right.
So the point is, go for it, right? And like, it's not, the other thing I want to pull back and say this. I keep saying real estate is a win-win business. As long as you make sure everybody's winning, you're going to win.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
Right? Yep. You're going to buy a property that's beat up. If you fix it up, the neighborhood wins. The person who left the property that doesn't want anymore is going to win.
Right.
And the new tenant that's going to move is going to win. The bank's going to win because they're making money. The city's winning because they're getting more taxes. Everybody's winning, right? And then you win for doing the positive thing. You added value. You did something.
Right. Absolutely.
So that's what it's about. So just find out a way where like everybody can win, and there should be money there.
Right. And so on the same side of everybody winning, you deal with some real estate people who don't involve themselves with wholesalers at all. You know, like, how do you think they got burnt? Why is there a negative view on some wholesalers?
You know, it's tough to say why there would be a negative view towards wholesalers. Like, unless they think there's no value there, unless they think there's a lie there, there's something's being hidden.
Right.
Otherwise, I don't see why. Now, again, I'll tell you this though. I get a lot of emails from people trying to wholesale me a deal, and I look at their deals and I'm like, either this wholesaler is an idiot or a liar or doesn't know what the hell he's doing, because this is trash. Like, this is a trash deal. Huh?
He says up the comps, pick the good comps in the area and send them over. And
yeah, I mean, you could do that, but like this, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, if you know what you're talking about, like, it takes me like seconds to know, like, this is ass. Like, you're like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's not worth it. Like, it takes me seconds to figure out. I'm like, if I see a deal, I'm telling you, it's like seconds. I'll be like, all right, I'm buying this.
Right. And how long do you think it took, man? It's just like, boom.
Delete, you know, like, it's,
right.
Again, it does take 100 deals before you buy something, right?
Right.
That's normal, but in my opinion. But, you know, that just happens. I mean, again, the other thing is this, is like, in this business, you got to think you're going to go through 100, if not 1,000 deals sometimes before you find something that's going to work, right? And it's not about like the 999 that failed. It only matters the one that you won, right? Because you don't get paid on fails, you get paid on wins. So you keep looking until you win. Right,
absolutely. And then you talk about, you know, for happiness, and obviously my personal thing is you might be the same way, but your family brings you happiness, man. You got 3 companies, I heard, like an insurance company, a construction company, you got your real estate going on. You know, I'm curious because where's your family? And that's a personal question, but that's something that I personally want for my happiness as well.
So when I was younger, my mom always said, like, work hard, hustle now. She didn't talk like that, but that's what she meant.
Right.
And so you would have a comfortable future, because it's a problem when you don't have money and you can't support them, and there's certain things, right? So the fact that, like, a big thing, like, people used to say this and I was like, I don't get it, and now now I'm older, I get it. It's like giving the kids what I didn't have. So like, all my kids go to private school. When I was younger, I thought private school was stupid, and now I'm like, but I grew up in the hood, and I'm like, oh, no, I don't want them to go through that. Now, even though I live in a good area, they all go to private school, and it's like the most expensive school there is, right?
Right.
And they're getting a great education, and they're learning, and it's awesome, right? So, and for me, even though now I still work a lot, and like, I'll basically be able to come home. I'll see them in the morning. I'll, you know, good morning. They're eating breakfast, and then I'm seeing them at night, and I'll put them to bed at night, right?
Right.
Other than most of the time I'm spending with them is on the weekends, because I don't want to over baby them either, right? Like,
right.
I feel I have a fair balance, right? And it's also really about relationship more than just volume of time, because you could be there all day and not really have a quality conversation or relationship. It doesn't matter that you're there or not. But yes, but the biggest point is having the ability and the freedom to make the decisions you want to make is the most important part that I find about this business, is that it gives you the freedom to choose what you want to do.
Right, and I'm that's I heard this. I went to some seminar one time, and it said money can't buy happiness, and we all know that money can't buy happiness, but money can create the freedom to do what makes you happy, and that's basically what you just said right there, man. And that's huge, you know. And
money's not real. Like, just I know it sounds weird. Money's not real. Money is just a transfer of something, right? You're trading something. So when Grant Cardone is saying money is not worth anything, you're trading it. And normally I'm the same way. The second I have money, I'm literally trying to get rid of it and buy something else with it that's worth the value. So money's not real. So money doesn't buy you happiness, right? Money should, in my opinion, and the biggest thing, it should. That's why people who have a lot of money and are like super cheap, like, doesn't make any sense to me, because it's like defeats the purpose. Money should be buying you time and freedom, right? That's really what it should be doing. And that's the thing, right? So, but yeah. So
No, man, I get exactly what you're saying right there. I get exactly. And a couple more things, like, do you read books any? Is that something you do?
I do read books, not as many as I would like,
Right.
because I'm too hands-on. I'm
Mhm.
really trying to learn to be less hands-on, but I'm very hands-on with everything that I'm doing. So,
Right.
but like, I tell everyone, read Rich Dad Poor Dad,
Right.
read Think and Grow Rich,
Yep.
read How to Win Friends and Influence People, read Intelligent Investor. There you go. So everything by Dale Carnegie, every thing by Napoleon
Robert.
Hill,
Yeah.
everything by Warren Buffett's mentor, the one he wrote, Intelligent Investor. Benjamin Graham, everything by Benjamin Graham. I read them. I read all of their books.
Mhm.
And then I read Manny Koshabin's books. I read all of Robert Kiyosaki's books.
Yep.
And constantly, like, whenever you have like a sticking point in your life,
Mhm.
read whatever book is about that sticking point.
Right.
And it's going to help open up your brain to find solutions.
Right. And this is my final thing with
Sorry,
you.
I don't read any Dave Ramsey's books. I do not read Dave Ramsey's books. I like borderline agree with him with stuff, but a lot of stuff he says and puts people on a whole nother page and making decisions. Like, I got a friend, he's like, I'm going to pay off my house in 5 years. And I was like, that is a horrible decision.
Right. Why
It's not a rational decision to do that.
Right.
So,
Why would you
Dave
do
Ramsey,
that?
huh?
No, I was like, I'm agreeing with, like, why would you do that?
Yes. So Dave Ramsey has great points like, don't have any credit card debt, don't have debt for toys, right? Your car loan, you should really try to pay that off. But if you're at 3% interest, you really shouldn't be paying it off. You should be making the minimum payments and reinvesting the money in something that's bringing you more money.
Right.
You should have the money more it's better for you to have the money in an emergency fund than to pay off your car, because if you have a free and clear car but have no emergency fund, then what are you going to do? You're going to sell the car because you need cash for an emergency. So some factors are important for what he says.
Right. You pick and pull from whatever,
Yeah,
Like,
so
okay,
it has
this makes
valid.
sense, or I feel like this about this way right here, and that's what makes you you. I mean, you read all these books from all these great people, but you pick and choose from those great people what you want to create your own, right? To create your own self. And one more thing, man. I see you on TikTok a lot more now. How's that working out for you so far?
It's crazy. I did one video, it had like over 150,000 views, and I was like,
Right?
that's like nothing. I was like, I didn't do there. Nothing was done. What
Exactly. It's like you don't do anything.
And then like the ones that you're like, oh, this is really good. It's like 500, and I'm like,
Right.
How did that get 150,000 and this only got 500? And I'm like, there's no rationale here. I'm like, I don't know. Gary Vee told me to listen. Gary Vee told me to do it, so I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna
so
do it.
A lot of times, if someone smarter than you in this area tells you to do something, you don't have to understand why. All you need to know is they told me to do this, so I'm gonna do it. And one day I'll figure out why they told me to do it. So that was really important, because a lot of times, like, something will happen in my life, and I'll be like, God, I don't know why this happened to me, or I don't know why you're telling me to do this, but I feel like you're telling me to do this. I'm gonna do it in faith, and later I'm gonna see, what the real reason is. So right now, Gary Vee told me to do it. I'm gonna do it.
Absolutely.
Done. That's it. I'm gonna obey.
No,
so
man, that's perfect. So you still watch a lot of Gary Vee?
Yeah, I mean, I watch Gary Vee. I watch the Real Estate Guys podcast. I listen to Syndicators podcast. I listen to Smiley's podcast. Basically, just enhancing myself in any way possible while I'm driving.
Right, absolutely, man. And I'm not going to hold you any longer. I'm sure somebody else wants to talk if you have the opportunity. I appreciate everything, man, and I'll be following you. All right.
Awesome. Good luck, buddy.
Hey, thanks.
Good night. All right. We have a couple more minutes, and let's see if anybody else wants to go live. All right. If anybody wants to ask any questions, go live. Otherwise, I'm scroll through some of these questions. There's like 8 billion questions. Yes, I did go to college. It is not necessary to go to college to do real estate or have good finances, but I did. Did you hear of the country Serbia? I have heard of the country of Serbia. Please recommend books about mortgage lending. I don't know of any books about